Hello, I'm Mark Baer. You're watching YourTown Television. My guest, Damon Danielson, a serial entrepreneur, and his latest adventure, Family App.
Family App.
Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's talk about what this is.
Well, Family App is like Instagram, except it's just for your family. It's private, and there's no advertising, and we just allow you to take as many videos as you want, as long a video as you want, or just photos. And when you hit that button, it just goes to the family that you've chosen to call your own, and that's it. There's ways to share videos and photos with friends if you'd like. You can hit a special button and all that. It's super simple, really easy to use. I got kind of frustrated with Facebook changing their rules on what was private all of the time.
And we'll go into this.
We can get into that.
Yeah.
So it's something that everyone in the family can use easily, and it's about capturing the real family moments that we like to have, and then being able to keep them for forever in one simple place where you can organize things instead of having it spewed around with pictures from some party you went to in 19 whatever.
We're not a fairy tale family. We get along sometimes.
Smile. Mom. Staying connected is important, but we don't do those chatty books or tweetygrams.
Can you imagine if we shared everything online?
What happens in this family needs to stay in this family.
Free, fun, and totally private. Family App.
So it's I think a really brilliant idea, a relatively simple idea.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, because we were talking before the show, you and I both agree that privacy is a nice commodity. Privacy is a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
Privacy is not the norm anymore.
Well, and it's funny because there's a lot of people, particularly millennials, and you could read about this, who really don't believe that privacy is important, basically. And, I'm not doing anything wrong, or I really don't care, so everybody can see everything. And I think that's been the case over the last couple of years, but it's starting to turn. I think people are starting to realize that, in fact, with Facebook and Instagram and Google, you are the product. I mean, they get as much information as they can about you, and then the more information they have, the more they can sell you for, and that's their job. And Google is on 2 million websites and 1 million mobile apps, and so we don't do any advertising, and we won't until we have several million users. And then what we'll do is we'll do advertising not based on who you are, but based on the fact that you're part of families. Families are important to you. There's a lot of people that want to reach families. So it's not like we're tracking you around and literally tracking you from your website, where you go day to day. This is what Google does. They literally are following you around, and even if you are
not because they
searching,
like you.
Yeah. Although the lunch there is fabulous.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
Oh, there is no free lunch. That's right. But they're tracking you around what you're doing, and even if you're on what do they call it when you go private? Well, anyway, they still track you. So I just think that's creepy and weird, and I don't think that's the kind of thing that people should put their families into, that kind of an environment.
So there's a difference between. So we're not troglodytes. There's a difference between technology.
Yeah.
And keeping your privacy.
Right.
And not everything is for the whole world.
Right. Well, that's the point. Right. You want to share pictures, but not with everybody.
Hey, look at our vacation. Oh, who's at your house? The burglar's the only one that's looking.
Yeah, but then there's now the other side of that experience, though. People, I call that social media showboating, and I don't mean to be derogatory either. If you want to share with your friends your party moments and whatever, I mean, people have created these elaborate who they are online versus who they really are, and it must be hard to live up to, by the way. I don't know sometimes, but to me, if you want to do social showboating, that's great. Don't do that on Family App, although I'm sure there'll be some of that anyway. God knows what we do with our families, but yes, I guess I have to think about that. But if you want to create that persona and live that other online life, that's fine. But it's not the place for your family stuff. I just don't. I think family needs to be in one location that's got some privacy and about it.
So let's talk about entrepreneurship in general. And again, we with the previous guest, we were just saying that I think entrepreneurship is one of the great American adventures.
Yeah.
And you've been at this a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about you a little bit.
All right. Well, I've had my butt kicked, just endlessly, just time after time.
Yeah.
But there's a rule that's not a very good one, but that out of 10 companies that get started, one of them is going to make it, 2 of them we'll see what happens, and the other 7 are gone. And in my experience, that I've probably done more than 20 startups in the last 20 years. So, and a couple of them worked, and that's why I'm living where I'm living and doing what I'm doing. But most of the time I fail. And I just did a little segment of a Yale Entrepreneurs book, and just gave the one thing I wanted to say to people who are thinking about entrepreneurs, and that's, hey, you are going to fail. You are going to fail, and if you can't handle that, then don't take this on. But it turns out that failure is not that big a deal. Once you do it a couple times, it hurts a little less. It still bites, but it hurts a little less, and you just learn to get up and dust off your butt and get out there and do what moves you again.
And failure, as we're talking about this, is it's almost like process. There's okay, so part of this was good. You're moving forward. You're moving on to this next thing that okay, what caused this failure that you fix, and it's not everything is meant to be success.
Yeah.
Some things are meant to be steps.
Yeah.
And I think that you found that.
I think there's truth in that, and I think that you evolve as a person and as a manager and as an entrepreneur and as someone looking at. But there's another side to it, which is it turns out there are an amazing number of ways to fail, and you might have figured out there's 4 of them, and I think
You're
I
too
got
soon.
that.
You're too late.
and luck is a big deal too.
Yeah.
I mean, and every good entrepreneur will tell you, hey, I got a little lucky,
Yeah.
But it is fascinating to me. I've been in some really good businesses that just should have made it, and then they'll fail for some new reason that I didn't understand. But most of the time, it comes down to the people. A little bit of luck and the right team and the right place.
So what's different? So let's talk about the Yale School of Business.
Yes.
And real life.
Yes.
And what did you learn that was indispensable, and what did you learn that didn't turn out right? And let's go through that experience a bit.
Well, yeah. I love the school, and I was the president of the Alumni Association for a while, and on the advisory board, stuff like that. I mean, it's a great place. So, having said that, when I went through there, which has been a few years now, but it was sold as a place where they were breeding entrepreneurs. But in fact, it didn't really work out that way, because the best of our class all went to investment banking and to consulting because it paid a lot of money, and that's what they could do. And I was one of a few people that tried to do the entrepreneurial route. And so as it's gotten better, and basically a lot of the undergrad kids are now more open to doing startups. So. And the school's evolved and has turned more into what it was saying it was there. But, it doesn't really matter. I didn't learn that much at the school, but that's my fault. I wasn't paying that much attention. I'm a terrible student in a situation like that. And
then being an entrepreneur and being a great student are
not related.
Yeah.
So I did learn a little bit about, there were a couple of teachers I really respected and would say the same thing if, you'd be better, if you're going to go out and do this, you better be prepared to get your butt kicked. But the best thing is I met my wife, and who's also graduated from the program, except she got another master's in forestry as well. Yeah. So it's been that way all the 30 years now.
Yeah, you can't compete with your wife. Yeah, I know your wife. We're not going to compete with your wife.
But and it was a good brand. It was a very good brand. I did a lot of business, a lot of international business, and people could always relate to that. So it was good.
Yeah. So those things matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you look at like Peter Thiel right now is paying undergrads $100,000 to drop out of school and to go start a company. Now, he's not doing that for just anybody. He's doing it for particular individuals he thinks that has a chance. But I don't think entrepreneurs per se in today's environment have to have a college education, and many of them don't. And I don't think they necessarily need an MBA either. So,
so the credentials, it's nice. Yeah. It's not essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people would say, gosh, I'm going to burn a couple of years in graduate school. Maybe that's not a good use of time. I don't know. For me, it was important.
Well, especially not time-wise, but debt-wise.
Yeah.
See, we didn't
Oh,
that-
yeah, the debt now.
The debt-wise
Yeah.
is a different thing. You can start a startup for what
Yeah.
that going to school.
Oh,
is.
absolutely.
You know, so
Yeah, starting startups depends on the startup. Like this one, Zero Motorcycles. I was the first CEO there, and our first round was $25 million, and we needed it. But then most of the things I do now, a couple $100,000, and you're up and running. You can take it far enough to know whether or not it's going to work or not.
So you did also you did spend time in corporate. You did work
Yep.
with Sony. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh, I loved Sony. I was a brand. I'm not going to use the word, but I mean I really liked it. Sony was like Apple is today. At one point, and I still think they do great products and all that. But I had a pretty good win. We got a company public. I was down in Los Angeles, a company called iWorks Entertainment. And my next move, instead of doing another startup, was to go to work for Sony. They made me a great offer, and it was executive VP thing. And I thought my mom would be proud of me because she at least understood that. She knew Sony,
Yeah.
And I did it for 3 years, and I had a lot of fun. My job was in business development. My job was to try to get the movie people and the game people and the television people and all. They were doing these different projects, and could we all get together and work as one on something, and do different projects? So
how prophetic that turned out to be.
yeah, well,
Wow.
so and the problem was they didn't pay the leaders to work together, so it didn't really work that way. We did do a couple interesting projects, including Metreon up in San Francisco, which has done pretty well. So, and then after that, I realized, I love doing early stage stuff. That's I don't like running stuff or anything. I like getting a company up and going. That's what's really fun.
The creation start.
Yeah, and then there's great people out there that can run stuff.
So with my previous guest, we were talking about the need to learn how to manifest, and that ability, and the ability to be a young person to be able to visualize something,
Yeah.
go out and make that happen,
Yeah.
win, lose, or draw, but to have something that starts as an idea that is crazy or not crazy, but to see it through,
Yeah.
to make it happen by
Yeah.
hook or by crook, and to know that if you have an idea, you can materialize it and something real can exist.
Yeah.
And the sooner you learn to do that,
Yeah.
the quicker you're on your way.
Yeah.
And I know that you went through that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and there's a little bit of DNA involved. I think I don't think everybody's meant to be or should be an entrepreneur necessarily.
Right. It's a calling.
Yeah, it literally is, but I agree with you. I mean, just the ability to have I think people need to learn to believe that something can do it, that you can do something, that you can manifest something. I think it's not that it's hard to manifest. We'll use that word for now. It's hard to manifest something, yes, but the missing link for a lot of it is when I talk to young people, and I'm not trying to criticize it, is the belief that they can change the world, the belief that they can take something on and do something with it, and so that's if they could just get to that part. If you can believe that once for one idea that you have, that means you can believe it again for something else that comes up. So
Yeah.
So how do you get them to have that impetus to believe?
Because once you know that you can do something,
Yeah.
then the next thing isn't.
Well, if you can make stuff up, then you can make stuff up over here.
Yeah, once you can do it, you can do it, and
Yeah.
learning that you
Yeah.
have this power.
Yeah.
It's like a secret power, a
Yeah.
superpower. Once you can do something,
Yeah.
then you're not scared. It'll happen. It won't happen. You'll do it, but you'll jump in. You'll
Yeah.
start from an idea. You'll have this idea in your own head, and I should have done that, or I really wish I would have done that.
Yeah.
Or, that'd be cool to do, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And boy, getting people over that.
Yeah,
That hurdle.
Go take a run at it.
Yeah. So what were you doing in Brazil all these years, by the way? So this is another question.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was a good adventure. Well, actually, we were working with Family App and trying
Yeah.
to get it launched down there. It's it's a great country. It's an incredible place in the world, and I really encourage people at the right time and place in their lives to go see it. It's physically huge. It's very rich in terms of everything you'd want.
And how did you end up there? So
Well, my next door neighbor knew I was an entrepreneur, and he was a Brazilian, and he actually did venture capital down in Brazil, and we started talking about this idea and how it would work in Brazil, and I ended up spending a lot of time down there over a couple of years, and it worked to some degree. It didn't work as well. The problem was Brazil's been in a lot of economic issues right now. So
politically, they're about to lose their president.
Yeah, again.
Again,
But lovely country, lovely people. It was worth the effort. So,
yeah. So that's kind of, so you got to work a lot of the bugs out of this.
Yes.
There.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was sort of, it helped us to understand what we needed to do here in the U.S. market.
So a simple idea takes a long time. That's another thing. It's
Yeah.
a dogged determination.
Well, yeah, and specifically within the venture capital, startup world, it used to be, you would start something up and you go 2, 3, 4 years, and typically speaking, you'd exit with someone would buy you, and then some people went, beyond that, or you would die at your Series A round, you just couldn't make it. But now what you're seeing is a lot of these startups are running 7, 8, 9, 10 years out to get an exit, which really complicates things for investors. But the time cycle is really stretched out.
That's interesting. Now that's changed.
Yeah, that has changed significantly.
Is that bad, good, indifferent? What does it mean?
I think it's bad. Because we would need more smart people and good investors who can do better in order to make the whole system work better for everyone in the country. That gives us more choices, more efforts. So when you start lengthening that cycle, it really hurts the smaller investors in particular. When I'm talking about smaller investors, I mean talking about guys that don't have $4 billion to throw at this. But the smaller guys need their money back out so they can go invest again.
Now, and now as an entrepreneur, and this is another thing, I know you from personally, you'd like to make money, but money has never been your primary impetus. It's never you say, gee, I like this idea because I can make a lot of money. You've always had some background, core belief, idea, sense of mission about anything you've done. And how important is that, singular to you, or how important is that in the entrepreneurial?
At the end of the day, you got to get up in the morning, at least most mornings. You got to get up and you got to go, God, this is interesting. I'm here. I've got an opportunity to go do this. I can do this today around this idea. You have to have the passion, I think. I do. I have to be passionate about what it is. I have to go, I like this problem we're trying to solve. I'm going to be able to make some people happy here. This is something I want to do. And then sometimes I have ideas that aren't great businesses, or maybe they won't make a lot of money. I started a charity, and we're giving guitars to kids that are underserved for holidays. Working on a water project in Rio right now because I got a whopping infection out of the ocean down there. And so how do you fix that? But it's not a moneymaker, but it's solving a problem. So there's other things we can do, and many people who are entrepreneurs and in this community, I know they have some money and they do the charity stuff and get money out and circulating again, trying to solve non-economic problems that are important problems.
So let's use our remaining seconds. Family app.
Family app, yeah. Please, it's simple. Even I can use it. It's not like getting into Facebook and having to dial all these filters so you can share with your family, and that won't work. By the way, your pictures are still over the web. So FAMLY, if I can, app, family app, one word.
Let's say that one more time.
Family app. There is no I in family. Familyapp.com, and try it out. See if it works for you and your family.
Thanks, Damon.
All right, thank you.
I'm with Damon Danielson, Family App. This is Mark Baer. You're watching YourTown TV. Thank you.